Okay, everyone, I wanted to give a quick video on Google Classroom Gradebook, which is, I know, a new feature a lot of people are using this year. And it used to just be something that would be up in the top right corner, but now that it syncs with Schooltools, it's much more user-friendly, and it's a real time saver in terms of how you go about your grading. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this and just the agenda here. So organization of assignments, I touched upon this briefly in the first video about using different emojis or symbols or colors. And I've found this to be pretty helpful for parents, especially. I've communicated that out to parents, what the symbols mean. Then the gradebook feature I'll take you through, and then different ways to grade your assignments using voice feedback, a comment bank, and then returning work. And then organization, I put on there twice, so apparently I'll do it twice or just once. Sorry about that. And then posting to Schooltools, and then a quick organization hack. I think the other day, my students, for attendance, we said, what's the hardest part of school? That was our attendance question. And I shared how I constantly feel like I'm a computer with about 20 windows open. So an organization hack that will hopefully help with that. So let's get right to it. I'm going to show you my Google Classroom right now for my 7th graders. I won't reveal grades and stuff, so I made a sample class for those purposes. And like I said, if this doesn't, as you go through, fast forward, don't even watch it. If this doesn't pertain to you, then no worries. So go into my Google Classroom. Oh my gosh, here we go. Sorry guys. Okay, so this is just one of my blocks. So going to classwork, you can see I've organized all the topics by date. And I always push my current week, so right now it's this week, to the top. I've got a couple things saved in draft for sub-plans in case. And then the symbols that I've been using, you can see here, if it's the in-school lesson, so I always do a Google slide and I do a little schoolhouse. And that's just, if you look at it, I have my kids, have it on the screen when my kids walk in, and it has resources that they can access. So my kids are in the habit, they walk into the room, they open up the Google Classroom, the classwork by date. And I often use Nearpod, so I'll put the code right there on the easel for them to access, okay? So you can see the little schoolhouse there, so they know that this won't necessarily be homework. It's something might be introduced for homework, but that's classwork, and that was communicated to parents as well. Now, if I do the little caution sign here, the little traffic cone, normally that would be a quiz or a larger graded assignment. And then the pen, I use the pen for homework assignments. So you can see, like right here, this was a theme, word to theme statement slide. They had to create, it was a 10-point homework assignment, exit ticket, which was a writing assignment. So typically those are standalones. The homework assignments will be a pen by themselves, but sometimes I introduce, homework within the slideshow, like reading and take notes in your actual paper notebook. Would be on one of the slides. That's nothing they have to turn in, but it's something they still have to do. So I sent those home to parents in a newsletter, and I just made like a little key, if you can see here. And I just explained how things will be organized, and also the Zoom link. I did a little video camera. So I found parents appreciated that. That was well received by them, and just helps them to navigate Google Classroom, because as teachers we all tend to organize differently. So of course come up with your system that works the best for you. Okay, so that's the organization. So I did that. So gradebook feature. So within my Google Classroom, the grades up here, I'm not going to show you this because it has all my students' names and grades, but it can be, I would say, pretty overwhelming initially, because everything you make that's an assignment will go automatically into your gradebook. So you really need to ask yourself, do I want it to appear there? Okay, so I made it's a sample classroom. I have one student, she's a very good student, Mrs. Olson. So you can see there's just 2 assignments in there, and I just reused them. So if it's something that you're not gonna grade, like sometimes you have to, like when I pushed out a Kahoot practice, it just automatically defaults as an assignment. So it would appear in my grade book. If I don't want to grade it, right click here and you can do the option return all. okay? And then in returning all, it does little check marks. So then you move on to your next one, okay? So this was a writing assignment that my kids did. So my best way and my suggestion for you when you go through, if you've got, 15, 25 kids, however many in that class, you have a whole grid here of all their names. Work your way down, and on the 3 dots here, you do view submission. This saves a tremendous amount of time instead of opening the assignment through classwork, going to the box, clicking on the student and having it load, and heaven forbid you have graphics, and it takes, probably takes 2 seconds, but it feels like 2 minutes. So obviously, Kelly hasn't done this. So I have a student sample. He gave me the okay to use his sample. So this was an exit ticket. So this was a writing assignment. I took off the name, but you can figure it out. And you can see it was just, he had to write a paragraph. So I'm going to go through how to leave comments and use the comment bank if you aren't familiar with that, okay? So it's a Google Doc feature. So if I wanted to leave a comment, let's say they misspelled this, they had to write a paragraph about a song. We've been doing a lot of songs and literary devices, and they had to pull out an example of an allusion within one of the song choices. So you can see for the title, he didn't capitalize. So in 7th grade, they still don't do it. So I obviously highlighted that and wrote caps. Let's say if this needed to be capitalized or something like that. So you highlight, go to the plus sign, and then it automatically comes up with comment. And you can also add others by using the at. So let's say if they needed to use transition words. I'm going to start typing in, there we go, transition. So I could pick one of these, okay, comma after transition word. That's in my comment bank. And then it's a quick click, and then it goes right to that, okay? So if I did that, and then when he goes to open the assignment, all of these populate, and he can see what he needs to work on. And then after he makes a correction, he would check it like I just did to mark it as resolved. So what I've learned, I've used the comment bank for a couple of years now, and I've built my own. And it's just, think about how many times you write the same correction. So instead of having to retype it every time, if you click on this right here, comment bank, add to the bank. And you can see I've got quite a lot just, for essays and everything along those lines. You can also link out to YouTube videos, any type of instructional piece you would want to use. So, okay, so this is wrong. I'm going to go to it. Let's say he actually did. Here, let's go here. So secondly, you're not afraid to fail. He has 2 errors that I would correct him on. He needs a comma after transition. So I start writing it, it automatically pops up. Comma after transition word, then I click there, I hit enter, because I want to put in another, he shouldn't use you in this type of response. So I'm going to start writing no, I think I call it NW. Yeah, new word. Oh, that's not the right one. Hold on, I'm typing you. Okay, there we go. No, you or your, use one, an individual, a person. So instead of having to type all that out, it's automatically saved. And then comment, okay? So this is if you wanted to leave text feedback. Just gonna get rid of these, even the one I left. And then voice feedback. So if you wanted to highlight on the text and use voice feedback, there's a great extension I'd recommend. It's called Moat. And it's right here, this little purple icon. And with Moat, I'll show you, you can just go to the Chrome web store, and this is what it looks like, okay? And it's an easy install. And then it just goes up to the top where your little, this little puzzle piece thing, where all your extensions, see, mine's right there. So I'm gonna go back to his document. And if you don't wanna leave feedback, text-specific feedback, you can just do it in the grading area here. So this, I wasn't grading it heavily for spelling, grammar, and punctuation. I really wanted to see if they understood what an allusion was and pulling out a text evidence, and we'll keep working on it, okay? So what you could do, and you can see I already did, I left him a Moat, which is a voice recording, and then right here, he can play it and listen to it. So I left him, 18 seconds, and then he listens to it, and then he can make feedback. So if I wanted to do that, let's move this. If I wanted, you just simply click on this, and as you can see, it automatically starts to record. So what I've gotten in the habit of doing, habit. I've done it twice. I'll grade something, I'll leave voice feedback, and then students the next morning when we're, especially in the middle of high school with that time where you're waiting for everyone to get in, oh, go to your such and such assignment, listen to your feedback, make corrections. Sometimes I could do it for a grade. I haven't done it yet. When I used to grade essays using Google Classroom, I would have them take all of their comments and resolve them for a separate grade just to show that they're working on their writing. So you have up to 1.5 minutes. I'm just going to cancel that. Okay. And then that, you just have to make sure right here you hit post, because if you don't post it and you put the grade in and return it, it won't save. So make sure you hit post. And then the grade up here, depending on if you're using a rubric or whatever it is, you type your grade in and you can change the total point. Yeah. Okay. So then what you would do, I've already returned this, then you hit return. Okay. And even if you don't hit return, once you type the grade in, it automatically goes to the grade book. So, you know, you could just, I always find out I have like 20 windows open on the top when I'm grading. So then I'm going to go back to my grade book over here. This was my sample one. So I probably spent, 30 seconds to a minute on each kid, and I simply work down my list. I know there's only one fake student in here, but you get the gist. Once everything's graded, do a quick return all. Once it's returned, then you can sync it to Schooltools. Another assignment using the Google form. This was a Google form quiz. So if you do any Google form quizzes, grades automatically, you can set it to import, which is right here. So you don't even have to type in the grade yourself. Obviously, Google form grades for yourself, grades it itself. And then I would go back to my simple grade book. And return all right down here, okay? If let's say there's something I don't want in my grade book, like if it said just go to this, I could delete it. One thing to keep in mind, once you delete an assignment from the grade book, the comments are deleted, feedback, the grade. So just be mindful of that. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming. Like if you look at my grade book for another class, I'm not going to show you grades, but okay. Let me find one. I'm so bad. See, this is my life right now. I feel like there's way too many windows open. Maybe I don't have one. Oh, right here. So I'll just quickly click on it, but you can see so many different grades. And that's why going through this way makes it so much more quicker in a sense in terms of getting through your assignments. Okay. So let's go to Schooltool syncing. So I can't show you my Schooltools because I don't want to reveal that as well. But I just did a slide here with some screenshots. So if you haven't figured this out yet, I have talked with a couple teachers and they said, oh, this is great, you should share this. So it's just like syncing your rosters. So you go to your gradebook editor, click the G, and then your menu of assignments will come up, and you click on the ones that you want to sync. Okay, and then it's pretty easy. You click on them right here, hit import, and then it will say, so-and-so have been successfully imported. And in the one I just did, 4 student scores were updated. So you should probably sync, maybe weekly, because, students might get work in or if they're absent, just to make sure your assignments are correct. Okay, so going back to the agenda. So that's posting to Schooltools. Now a quick organization, a bonus organization hack. Especially nowadays with how we have to present instruction and students zooming in or using a Google Meet. I feel like we all have so many windows open. So this is what I'd recommend, creating a folder here. And it's a quick right click to create a folder. And you can drag your websites that you open at the start of the day. Okay, so I do Google Classroom, my inbox, GoGuardian, Pandora, my Drive, Schooltools, Zoom. This I'm using because it has PDFs of the book we're reading, Nearpod, and there's a YouTube video on there that shouldn't be in there. I gotta delete that one. It's just a musician. And what you would do, so you drag everything in there, and then in the morning, instead of opening multiple windows, you just do a quick right click, and in this case, it says open all 10, and it will, you can see it going right through there. I don't know if it necessarily saves so much time, but it just makes me feel better because all the windows open and the start of the school year, I was teaching my first block in the e-learning cafe, and then I would come back here for second block. So it was just a lot of back and forth. So this gave me a little bit of peace of mind. Okay, so I think that's it. I hope the video finds you well. If you have any questions, reach out. I'd be happy to help you. Thanks. Now it's going to keep going, and I should have it paused, but I'm not really good at ending a video. I'm going to stop recording. Okay, have a good day, guys.